All right, good morning and welcome to today's session of Imagine America Radio, our continuing Career College Exposition webinar series. My name is Lee Doubleday and I'm with the Imagine America Foundation. I'm excited about today's topic, life after high school and training for 2023 graduates, sponsored by Bryant Stratton College. Bryant Stratton College has an online school, as well as 19 ground campus locations in New York, Ohio, Virginia, and Wisconsin. Bryant Stratton College is also a relatively new member of the Imagine America Scholarship and Award programs. And if you would like more information on how to help your students apply for our scholarship to attend this institution, please visit our website, which is www.imagine-america.org. And I will also make sure to send you a PDF flyer with the recording of today's presentation sometime tomorrow morning as well. But since our beginning in 1999, Imagine America remains a leading sponsor of scholarship aid to enrolling high school students. However, our country faces a serious shortage in qualified workers. We hear from employers in virtually all sections of the country desperately looking for qualified employees, so we need to do more. Our partner in today's presentation is Bryant Stratton College, and joining us today to discuss in detail the looming worker shortage and how Bryant Stratton College is helping meet this need is Crystal Morgan. Crystal is Bryant Stratton College's premier high school presenter and has been working with high schools and college admissions for over 15 years, so you're in great hands today. But before turning the program over to Crystal, let me outline today's agenda. Today's session of Imagine America Radio will be 30 minutes maximum with question and answers at the end of the presentation. All participants can and are encouraged to submit questions while the presentation is in session via the Q&A or the chat feature inside of this Zoom meeting. And at the end of the presentation, or approximately 10:25, I will then present any questions offered by the participants, and we'll address as many questions as possible and provide written responses if necessary. We will have a hard close to be respectful of your time at 10:30. So without taking any more time out of today's presentation, let me turn today's session over to Crystal. Crystal, floor is yours.
Thanks, Lee. Again, my name is Crystal Morgan. I'm with Bryant Stratton College. Really looking forward to talking with everyone today. The focus of today is really going to be talking about the challenges facing tomorrow's workforce. We'll talk some about the opportunities to better prepare students for life after high school. And then, of course, I'd like to share Bryant Stratton College's path to college and career success. So the one thing we know is the workforce is ever evolving. And now more than ever, that starts with recruitment, onboarding, but then most importantly, retention. If you follow any of the higher ed, social media, if you follow the news, you're seeing a ton of things about, continual turnover. And a lot of that has to do with people have choices. There's a lot more options, remote options, more flexibility in their job. So it's really important now more than ever to consider how your students' education is going to help prepare them for a workforce that is ever evolving. When I think about this topic, I really think about 2020 to now and beyond. Our pre-pandemic workforce most certainly looks different than our post-pandemic workforce. But, at the end of the day, it's perception versus reality. We can continue to keep a focus thinking that things are going to go back to normal. But the reality is there is a new normal. There's generational gaps that are going to have to be discussed. Gen Z is really going to change the shape of the workforce. And so a lot of us are going to have to start thinking about how do we prepare these young adults for entering the workforce in a time that's a little bit challenging. It's a little bit different. There's a lot of change going on. When you thought about the older way of, thinking, high school students, they would graduate. Their focus was, I'm going to get into a good college. I'll focus on getting my education. I'll earn my degree, and then I'll start the job search process. Fast forward, a lot of students are thinking about, well, what do I want to do after high school? A lot of them, although they may continue their education, it's not necessarily their first focus. Their first focus tends to be, how am I going to support myself? How am I going to get into a career that's a great fit? How am I going to get hands-on experience? How am I going to gain the skills that employers need and are looking for? And so they're making their choices about higher education, apprenticeship, military options, all of these things based on life, quality of life, and satisfaction. The one thing we know is that in order to continue to grow the workforce via skilled education, we have to prepare these young adults to be ready for future career success. And so if you take a look around, whether it's on Indeed or you're taking a look through ZipRecruiter, LinkedIn, you can see there are a ton of job postings, and you'll notice the same job postings popping up over and over and over and over again. There's this boomerang effect going on. Positions are open, as soon as it gets filled, someone else is leaving. And in many cases, the person who just got hired is also leaving. There's this new, I can't remember the word for it, but basically people are trying it out. They take the new position, come on for, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 12 weeks. If it's not what they're looking for, they're willing to just separate and go look for something new. So as a result of that, a lot of the demand on existing staff, is based on they're understaffed. They may feel underpaid because they're having to duplicate their efforts to make up for the understaffing. For new hires, there may be a lack of training because it's such a continual turnover. A lot of your more tenured staff is, sharing, they're feeling a little underappreciated, overworked, overwhelmed, and in some cases, quite honestly, they're over it. And so because of that, employers and, leadership roles, everyone's looking to figure out how do they create that quality of life, that experience for existing staff. Meanwhile, you're going to have these 18, 19, 20-year-olds entering the workforce, and they're not going to really understand, why is everybody so frustrated? Why is everything so complicated? Why is there constant change going on? But we are really in this unique state of trying to figure out, how do we adapt to all these new normals? How do we really ensure that we create a place where there's employee satisfaction so that there is long-term retention? And so we have a responsibility to help young adults really see how they go in, adapt, and overcome some of what they're going to experience. So our opportunity to prepare them for that life after high school starts a couple of different ways. First and foremost, you play an important role. Counselors and teachers really are the career catalysts that can help change and mold lives. At times, you may be the only one giving them real facts about college and career readiness. High school students need to learn and understand how high school prepares them for college and how college prepares them for a career. You may be the only one providing the motivation needed to think about and really pursue a successful life after high school. And we know that starts with getting some level of career training, whether it's college, 4-year, 2-year, if it's the apprenticeship option, or if it's some sort of an on-the-job training. But at the end of the day, we know you're helping to give them that motivation to decide what option is best for them. And you're often that conduit between the student, the college or colleges that are the best fit for your student, and their interest and career aspirations. And so, I know you may not even realize the impact that you make on so many of the young adults out there, but I can tell you firsthand, when I talk with juniors and seniors in high school, many of them tell me they make their decisions based off of the input and feedback they've gotten from their teachers and counselors in their high school. We keep talking about today's workforce really needs an infusion of skilled workers. And one of the things that we can really do to help our young adult, high school students understand where their focus needs to lie is help them to really see the differences between a job and a career. A job is something you can get regardless of the skills that you have, right? A lot of times you can get a simple retail job, a part-time job, something that's going to be a little less satisfying, maybe not exactly what they're looking for long term. Perhaps it doesn't have a steady pay or income. It doesn't provide benefits. And so it's interesting when we talk to students about a career, they've never thought about the fact that in a career, there's a level of happiness. You enjoy what you're doing every day, that there is financial stability that comes along with that. And there is also those benefits that we talked about. And it's again interesting just talking with juniors and seniors. They never thought about finding a job that gave them healthcare benefits, dental benefits, 401k, vacation time, sick time. They don't know what those things are. So when you really start thinking about, prepping for a career, those are things that we can really paint the picture and help them to see what options really lie out there for them. Some of the skills that we know are needed is networking skills. Regardless of the type of position that they're looking to get into, having the ability to network and build relationships is huge. Professional integration. Again, we talked about the generational gap. So you may have various generations who are working together, really understanding diversity in the workplace. So I think helping them to see the importance of that professional integration, learning to work well with others, teamwork, research and evaluation, critical thinking, and critical problem solving. Again, with so many organizations being understaffed, they really need team members that are very solutions oriented. If you're going to come with an issue or a problem, they're really looking for you to also come with the solution and some level of ownership to create a solution to that problem. Communication skills. Communication skills are not just what you do verbally, as we all know, but really helping our high school students to understand it's what they say both verbally and non-verbally. Written communication, non-verbal cues, all of those things matter in the workplace. Conflict resolution is another big topic that's been going on right now. Just understanding, again, how to be solutions oriented, really working through issues with their team members, figuring out how to not get frustrated and just walk away. And then, of course, leadership, regardless of title, everyone needs to have that level of ownership and leadership in what they do. And then, of course, if they're looking to get in a clinical setting, if they're thinking perhaps they want to get into medical assisting or nursing or physical therapy assistant, they're going to have to understand, outside of just understanding how to use all the equipment and instruments, outside of knowing, the proper procedures for when they're going through a clinical process. Patient care is a huge area of opportunity right now. With healthcare workers being so incredibly understaffed, that customer service piece, that patient care is so important. Thinking about, bedside manner, how they're greeting people if they're working at, the front desk at a medical office, but even more importantly, when you're delivering at times not such good news to someone about their health. And so one of the things that I really challenge, everyone on this call to do is help students to see the importance of exploring a variety of career options, really help them dig in and determine their interests. And we categorize this in a couple of different ways. So one option would be to figure out, are they a doer? Do they enjoy working with their hands, especially on projects that allow them to be more physically active? Our doers are often classified as being more practical, stable, self-controlled, and independent. So that might be someone like a police officer or an athletic trainer, a hairdresser, a carpenter, a physical therapist, or even a licensed practical nurse. They really enjoy more of that hands-on work. Are they an investigator? Investigators are observant and curious about the world around them. They're very inquisitive, intellectually self-confident, and often quite logical. So that could be a computer analyst, a technical writer, a paralegal, a lawyer, a veterinarian, a police detective. Are they an artist? Artistic people value creative self-expression. They tend to be more innovative, imaginative, and unconventional. They love working freely, often putting their emotions into their work. And so when you think about that student that really has that artistic and creative ability, a career possibility for them could be an artist, a musician, an interior decorator, a painter, a graphic designer. Again, there's so many options out there that could bring them career satisfaction. Are they a helper? A helper really enjoys jobs that allow them to interact with people and help others. This may include new skills or helping with personal problems. Many times helpers will exhibit emotional attachments and tend to be very in touch with their feelings. So if you're thinking about a student right now who really falls in that helper category, have them look at things like perhaps youth services, social work, a paramedic, a receptionist, a childcare provider, or even a nurse for that matter. Are they an entertainer? Entertainers are most often self-confident, social, and adventurous. This includes making decisions, selling products, leading groups, debating politics. Many of these individuals would excel if they got into a sales position, branch manager, travel agent. Maybe they want to be a lawyer or a radio personality. But as you can see, there's so many different variety of paths they could go, just knowing that they have more of that extrovert personality. Dig in a little bit, narrow down to 2 or 3 that might be good to really take a peek at. Or are they a detailer? Detailers are conventional people who enjoy collecting and organizing. They work well within a system and are efficient and practical. Detailers enjoy playing by the rules and work well within boundaries. So some of those career possibilities, definitely not up my alley, would be an accountant, an insurance underwriter, a court reporter, a paralegal, a financial analyst, a credit manager. Again, there is a great need for those individuals who can really pay attention to all of those smaller details, organizing information. So if you have that person that you have in class or that's come to meet with you and this is their type of interest, there is a ton of options out there for them as well. And so once they've narrowed down, right, they've narrowed down to determine, are they a doer? Are they an entertainer? Are they a detailer? Which category do they fall in? They've narrowed down even further, 2 or 3 different options for types of careers that fall within that type of category. Now they need to research their career educational requirements because their possibilities out there, quite honestly, are endless. They've got to find the right path that makes sense for them, where they're going to be most successful. So with those individual career opportunities, is it a 2-year college, a 4-year college, a trade school, the community college, a career college, an apprenticeship? Some may choose to just jump right into the military or jump directly into the workforce. But regardless of the direction they go, we just want to make sure they've done their research and they're not surprised by what's going to be needed to get into those rewarding and fulfilling careers that they're seeking. One of the other things when you're looking to support their goals is help them to understand that there are short-term goals that will help them to achieve the long-term goals. And what I found a lot of times, especially working with high school students, is they dream big, but they're lacking the next piece, which is taking action. And what we know, if we really don't break down this goal, a goal without a plan is simply a wish. So we want to make sure we want them to dream big, but then let's help them to chunk it down and say, okay, so you want to be a nurse. In order for you to become a nurse, what do we need to do right now? After we've researched the educational requirements, we know, for example, short term, you're going to need to have strong math and science skills so you can pass the entrance assessments to get into a nursing program. Let's take a look at your grades right now, right? That could be a short-term goal. Another piece may be that they want to research scholarships. Nursing programs at times can be a little more pricey than some of the other programs out there. So to save themselves on tuition and cost, researching scholarship opportunities. And then that long-term goal is going to be graduating from nursing school. So, how are they going to do that? They've got to narrow it down, find the right college, make sure they've met the requirements, get into the school, but help them to really build that plan, get them to take action. When you do those follow-up conversations, ask them what steps they've taken and give them that gentle nudge when needed, just to kind of remind them, you can't get to the long-term goal if we don't start working on the small-term goals now. One of the things that I really stress to young adults these days is they don't have to know exactly what it is that they want to do, but they have to start taking action pretty immediately after high school graduation. And so, for example, I just gave the example of working in nursing. We work with a lot of students that are entering the healthcare field. Let's say they want to become a nurse. Well, a lot of your magnet hospitals do require you to end up with a bachelor's of science in nursing. But they also give you time once you're hired. You typically have 2 to 3 years. after getting hired as a nurse to get that BSN. So many times students may come to us and say, you know what, I'm not quite ready to commit to the BSN. I'm going to do the associate's degree in nursing, earn my associate's, go to work. Once I'm working, utilize my tuition reimbursement from my employer to pay for my bachelor's. We also have students that they know that they want to do nursing, but maybe from a financial standpoint or academically, they're not quite there yet. So they might start with an LPN diploma program. They might start with a medical assistant diploma or associate's degree program, and really build up the skills, build up the knowledge, work on securing, scholarship opportunities, tuition reimbursement, things of that nature to help them with those higher level programs. But one of the things that we can really do is help them to see that phased approach to their education is going to allow them to really experience the profession before deciding and investing in the next step in their educational or career opportunity. And so that's one of the things that we do here at Bryant Stratton College is we really talk to students about their path to college and career success. Bryant Stratton College has been around since 1854. We have building-based and an online campus. We're located in Wisconsin, Ohio, New York, and Virginia. One of the things that we pride ourselves on is our top-notch career services assistance that's offered to our students at all locations. So not only do they get that support from admissions when they come in to help ensure that they end up in the right program, but when they work with career services throughout their program, they're building their portfolio. They're working towards gaining their internship at the end of their program, or the clinical hours that they're going to get in their healthcare programs. They, at that point then, are partnered with a career services advisor who will get them not only access to job leads, but can help them to ace the interview. They help with things like mock interviews, how to dress for success, how to really brand themselves out on LinkedIn, and really help getting them in front of hiring managers within their field. That is a lifetime service that we offer to our students. So as an alumni, let's say life happens 5 years after they've graduated, they're ready to make a career change. They can come back and get that support from career services where they go back, refresh that resume again, put them back in front of our, partner employers, and really seek that next level position for them. When I talked about healthcare is not the only programs that we offer, but it is one of the ones that's highest in demand right now. And so when we take that stackable approach that we were just talking about, you can see students can come in at a diploma level in, say, health service administration, billing and coding, practical nursing. They could come directly into the associate's degree, but if they chose not to, all of those credits they earned in their diploma would then go into their associate's degree, and all of the credits they earned in their associate's degree would then be applied to their bachelor's degree. So again, they don't have to jump right for the bachelor's. They can take that phased, stackable approach. Our industry-aligned medical wing provides students hands-on instruction that will help them gain real-world experience. And in our classroom, students will learn theory, assessment skills, learn to apply soft skills in a clinical classroom environment. And it really is going to prepare them for a successful transition into their healthcare careers. They do all of this under the instruction and guidance of highly experienced and qualified healthcare faculty. Blended learning is something that we have really shifted our focus to. As we all know, many of the students really adapted to having some flexibility to do some of their coursework from home, even in the K through 12 environment. And so with blended learning at Bryant Stratton College, many of our students are going to have programs that allow them to have some virtual learning. They would then come to class, get that face-to-face with their instructor and their peers, be able to network, work on projects together. But then, of course, they're able to go home, do those virtual assignments and assessments. So they're really getting the best of both worlds. Regardless of whether they're in person or virtual, the best feature of blended learning is the support that they receive throughout the duration of their program. Our healthcare graduates, they're getting hired at places like VCU, Centera, Bon Secours, Mercy Health, Riverside. We do have 3 campus locations in Virginia Beach, Hampton, and Richmond, right here in Virginia. So if you're, looking at some of these places that are local to you, these are just some of the big name employers that we currently work with. And we do offer, like I said, other programs. So that stackable degree plan for legal services, business, technology, education, that exists as well. So if you have that student you're thinking about that healthcare isn't necessarily what they're looking for, but more of a phased approach to their education, perhaps in technology is, we still have the ability to sit with them and really put them on the right path. The other thing I'm excited to share is that one of the things that does make us unique as a career college is that we do have Bobcats athletics. So that's men's baseball, softball, basketball, track and field, as well as esports. We have a few other up and coming athletic programs that we're adding to our roster. But the great news is that our students have the opportunity to continue playing the sports that they love, at times getting scholarships to play the sports that they love, while earning a college education. There are many resources available for your students. And so it starts with the admissions team that's going to really help them with that phased approach to higher education, making sure they're getting into the right program, helping them with the enrollment process. Financial aid will meet with them one-on-one. They'll give them financial advisement, helping them to complete their FAFSA, research scholarships, and really come up with an affordable plan that works for them and their family. Once in class, they have a top-notch, again, academics team that's going to work with them. There is free tutoring and advisement as needed. That dedicated team is really focused on each individual student's academic success. And then our career services team, and we've already talked about them, so I'm not going to go back through all the great things that career services is able to do for students. And so if you're thinking, based off some of the information that you've heard today, that there's something we can do to partner with you and your students, I wanted to share some of the options that are available. First and foremost, we are able to conduct workshops that meet the needs of your classroom. We do workshop topics on resume and interview skills, employability skills, financing your education, healthcare careers, picking their career path, budgeting, high school versus college. We also custom build workshops based on the needs of teachers and counselors. So if there's a specific topic that you're looking for, we can custom build that to meet your classroom. Other ways we can partner, we schedule bus trips and field trips where students are able to then come on campus, have the ability to really see some of those future careers in action. We've been able to schedule career days. If you want to do, for example, a criminal justice day or a medical assistant day, we can schedule that on campus or at your high school where we can talk more specific about a specific type of career. We certainly from time to time do host college fairs and financial aid fairs, but we also want to be invited. So if you have a college fair going on, definitely add us to your list. And as far as financial aid, many high schools have been reaching out, asking us if we can come and just do financial aid advising sessions for students. So basically we can do FAFSA workshops and help your students to complete their FAFSA regardless of the colleges that they have an interest in getting more information on. So to learn about workshop availability or to just get more information, you can reach out to Lee or you can reach out to me directly. And with that, Lee, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Crystal. Yeah, we are now going to open this up for the Q&A portion of the presentation. So you have a question for either Crystal or myself, please feel free to type it in the chat feature or the Q&A feature. Crystal, this first question has to do with accreditation. Can you reiterate your accreditation? And I'm guessing since we just talked about FAFSA, so this question is kind of already halfway answered, but they wanted to know, are you accredited and do you accept federal financial aid?
Yes and yes. So we are regionally accredited by Middle States on higher education, which means that we do have the same accreditation level as like an ODU, Norfolk State, William and Mary. So obviously that's, important for you to know for your students. The other thing is we do have the ability to receive Title IV funding. So students do complete their FAFSA just like they would at any of those other schools that I just mentioned. And so they're able to then get, grants, loans, and any other aid that they may be eligible for. In addition to scholarships, and I did forget to mention, we also do outside scholarship matching.
Awesome. All right, great. Okay, just a few house cleaning items here. Number one, I have recorded this session and will be sending this to you likely tomorrow morning. There is an exit survey when you leave this meeting. It's only 4 questions long. If you wouldn't mind answering that for us, that would be very, very helpful. We do presentations like this all over the country, so any feedback you could provide would be appreciated. Maybe there was something that you wanted to hear about but didn't, or any kind of feedback would be really helpful. But before closing, I just want to thank all of our participants for taking time out of their busy schedules to join us today. I'd also like to thank Crystal for sharing with us today's presentation and encourage you to contact her directly with any future questions you may have. And I will include Crystal's contact information in the email with the recording that I send you tomorrow. But on behalf of the Imagine America Foundation, Crystal, and myself, I want to thank you and wish you a great rest of your day. Goodbye.